The college experience, Ole Miss Rebels 2020 college football preview on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by MyBookie.ag. You're listening to our 2020 college football preview series where we break down every single one division college football team. While betting on college football, make sure you go to MyBookie.ag and use the promo code SGP for a deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code SGP. You play, you win, you get paid over at mybookie.ag. Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college experience. My name is Colby Dant, aka Pick Dundee, in the place to be, and we're breaking down the Ole Miss Rebels, and I'm joined by my co-host, who's got his own. There's flesh and blood in his family from Ole Miss.
Very true.
Former James Madison defensive back, the Titan of Tecmo Super Bowl.
Hello.
Just not when he's playing me. Give it up for Patty C in the place to be.
Hi.
Ole Miss Rebels, Joey Freshwater.
Oh, bring in the freshness.
Lane Train
to Oxford.
I mean, are you excited for this hire?
I am excited for this hire. You know, and looking back at Lane's recent accomplishments, do you realize that in his last 5 full seasons as a head coach, he's won 10 games in 3 of those?
So what? USC, Florida Atlantic,
USC. Then he was 10-2 at USC, 7-6 at USC. Got fired through 5 games, so that one doesn't count, right? Although he's 3-2, which isn't terrible. I mean, it's not good. But then at Florida Atlantic, 11-3, 5-7, 10-3. 2 10-win seasons in 3 years at Florida Atlantic.
Well, I actually think like as much as like that was good, he brought in like 30 transfers from like Oklahoma, Florida State.
If you thought it was possible to bring in transfers at Ole Miss or at Florida Atlantic, what do you think is going to be the case at Ole Miss?
Oh, he's going to kill it with those. But you're in the SEC West.
You know, I mean,
you can beat up on whoever North Texas and Rice. But when you hit the SEC
buddy,
West,
I don't know if you recall Ole Miss getting the better of Alabama on back-to-back years pretty recently, and that was largely due to the fact that whether legal or not, they got some high-profile talent in there.
It was legal. It was legal for SEC standards. I'm not buying this that they were the ones.
Yeah,
they're the only ones doing this. Get out of here.
100% fact.
I know too many people affiliated with some of these programs
directly funding them illegally.
Yeah. So, but dude, overall, you think what do you rate that higher?
It kind of depends on what else was available. I mean, if you assume that Norvell was...
Well, there was a guy that was available in Starkville who they passed on.
They messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's clearly a better of the two coaches there from you would think an X's and O's standpoint, certainly. And then also a career accomplishment standpoint. Mike One Leach is certainly the more accomplished coach, so to speak. But for what Ole Miss is doing, I actually think that Joey Freshwater is the better option because Ole Miss has a little swagger, whereas Mississippi State is a little more subdued, you know, and where Mike Leach is probably a great personality fit. He doesn't. I feel like Ole Miss wants a little pretty boy, you know, running the show. They got like the bow ties. They're doing the, hottie toddy thing down there. He's probably like a frat guy, just like the rest of them.
I can tell you this: the Egg Bowl, easily one of the most anticipated games I want to watch this year.
Yeah,
I know we're battling COVID. I know they've canceled all these other games, But
Are they still doing the Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving?
yeah,
Oh man, that's a fun one.
that's fantastic.
Now that is a rivalry I could look forward to for the foreseeable future, as long as these two guys are here.
I might have to go to that game
a
this
Thanksgiving treat.
year. Yeah. So
Dessert, you might say.
looking back on last year, over under.
Ah, boy. Over under for Ole Miss last year.
Did I hit on it? Did we hit on it?
Let me take a little gander here.
If you're a first time listener, we pick every single over under for all the 130 college football teams. We've been doing this for years. Me, Patty C, NC Nick, all the college football experts at sportsgamblingpodcast.com.
Well, the number was 5 last year.
So we pushed.
We all took the under and we all hit because they finished 4-8 last year.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And you locked it, buddy.
Boom.
Hiya.
Easy money with your boy Rich Rod. You know, you did a good job though.
Yeah.
Mike McIntyre on the defense did a good job.
9th rushing offense in the country last year in his first year as offensive coordinator.
Just not a lot of wins.
Not a lot of wins, but when you're playing the best teams in football, those tend to be harder to come by. So I think Rich Rodriguez, it's crazy that no one has hired him yet. And he's just one of the best offensive minds.
He should be a
football.
head coach somewhere.
Yeah, just floating around out there for no reason.
Like if you're a really bad team,
why isn't Rich Rodriguez your coach?
If I was Arkansas, I would have hired Rich Rod over Sam Pittman.
He took, yeah, exactly. He took,
and that's not a shot at Sam Pittman.
How bad
Sam Pittman could be a good coach. I'm just saying, Rich Rod
is a proven, commodity.
What about the mid-major level? How has no one just jumped on Rich Rod? But anyway,
unbelievable.
Well, I know a couple girls probably jumped on Rich Rod. Hey.
Or as he was trying to get them to, and I think that's probably where the problem. Actually, one of them did.
Yeah, there you go.
We're getting a little personal here, but hello, this is a college experience. We get personal with you guys.
Yeah, we're drinking beer. Look, I got nothing against Rich Rod.
I love the guy.
Yeah, I mean, go Rich Rodriguez.
Yeah.
But okay, looking at last year's record, anything stand out to you? Obviously, we hit on the under. I locked it, so I mean, just another one that I could throw in the belt, throw in the vault.
Yeah, throw in the air. You might even say. Yeah. I mean, look, 4-8, and really the wins were not against.
They almost beat Auburn in Jordan Hare.
You know,
played A&M close too.
Probably two of their more impressive games, all things considered. Even rushing for 400 yards against LSU is insane. Although LSU did give up more points than I think people realized last year. Their offense was just absurd. But their wins for Ole Miss came against a putrid Arkansas team.
Dude, they actually played. They got played pretty close by the Southeastern Louisiana Lions.
Yeah, that's tough. FCS. Then
put it on Vandy though.
Yeah, put it on Vandy. And then laid it on SEC special guest New Mexico State.
Why? Yeah, they played 30 SEC teams every 5 years. So looking at this roster for 2020, obviously Joey Freshwater comes in, brings in interesting hire, brings in UCF's OC Jeff Lebby. What do you think about that? Aggressive. What do you think about the SEC really heading towards passing?
Well,
you saw it with LSU getting it done. Alabama's they're not as physical. They're more passing. Mike Leach comes over to the SEC. Arkansas with Sam Pittman's got Kendall Briles running the show, who is Art Briles is a guy who did coach under Leach at Texas Tech.
There you go.
I mean, you got a lot of passing now going on there.
I mean, especially in a state like Mississippi, which is talent laden, but maybe not quite as committed from a resources and structural standpoint as a place like Alabama or LSU or financial resources. They're still able to get their hands on plenty of talent, and in many cases, throwing the ball around, getting good skill position players is a great neutralizer to a power team. And so you might as well use up as much space with speed as possible. Throw the ball around. I mean, we've been seeing this for years. Florida, Steve Spurrier, probably 20 years ahead of the curve there in the SEC.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at this thing. Their top passing quarterback, Matt Corral, threw for 1,300 yards and 6 touchdowns.
I'm pretty sure that Josh Heupel had Gabriel doing that
in one game.
Yeah, 1 or 2 games
against Florida A&M or something. That's got to be a bit of an issue. Now they got John Rhys Plumlee. I mean, had 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns.
I think that was rushing, right?
Yeah, and then he
1,200 rushing yards, only 900
for
passing
900.
yards.
This team as a group had 6. The whole team only had 16 passing touchdowns. That's incredible.
That's pretty bad.
It's like Navy.
John Rhys Plumlee had 4 passing touchdowns. I don't know if it's Rhys or Rice. I don't know how to say it, but 4 passing touchdowns in 9 games as a starter.
That's not good for business. But number 9 rushing attack, like we mentioned. Looking at this team, I mean, this team got hit hard by a lot of those sanctions ever since then, recruiting wise. But that guy Elijah Moore caught 67 passes. I mean, he's only the number 2 receiver, only 13 catches for the number 2 receiver. That's an issue.
That's a systemic issue right there. We're going to see a vast change. It's going to be interesting. You got to wonder if, clearly these weren't Rich Rod's recruits. So if they're playing quarterback for Ole Miss, then you assume that this tendency to be good at running and not good at passing was strictly due to Rich Rod's implementation of his system. You got to figure if someone tells them to throw the ball around, they're going to be capable of doing it to a greater extent than they were at the very least. You're not getting Pat White in there, in other words.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. No Denard Robinson.
Well, they're going to need to bring in some receiving talent because, like I said, if it's UCF's offense, runs a lot, but a lot of option read. Defensively, I will tell you this, and people are going to shit on me for this, but I like the DJ Durkin hire.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's unfortunate with the way things went down at College Park.
Clearly,
he's a
very
good coach.
He had Maryland coming and going in the right direction.
I think that's a great hire for them. I expect him to get that defense going.
Man, I'm taking a look at this Plumlee kid. He's kind of built like a brick shit house. He's an athlete. We'll see if the arm.
I'm assuming they're going to throw more though.
Yeah, but when you have it never hurts to have an athlete back there.
Well, how about defensively? As I mentioned with DJ Durkin, this kid John Haynes probably the best of their defensive linemen. Pass rush was great last year, 33 sacks on the season. But they lost their best player, Benito Jones, is a Miami Dolphin now. Looking at the strength of the defense, really, it's probably at the linebacker position, if I had to guess. They got Sam Williams, Lakika Henry, and Jaquez Jones. Defensive line is a bit of an issue, but Durkin, I feel like there's probably now depth may be an issue, but I think there's probably enough talent for Durkin to actually have this defense decent. Now the problem is you play some really, really good teams that have great, offenses.
Yeah.
With Alabama and LSU, and then obviously I don't know how fast Leach will be able to implement his air raid, but if that gets clicking by Thanksgiving, that could be an issue. And then Texas A&M, Kellen Mond coming back, so they got their work cut out from on that front.
Certainly, but you gotta like the discipline that DJ Durkin is able to install in a defense, and that at the very least should make them a little more stout.
Well, I think the offense has more work to catch up on than the defense. Defense has a head start, I think.
Yeah.
Besides that, I would say we're about to go game by game, talk about where we see Ole Miss go. I'm not going to win. On our previous episodes, we went through, did the win totals, did odds to win the SEC. I'm going to pull that from right now because we don't know what's happening. All the other conferences appear to be just playing the conference games, minus the SEC and Big 12. We haven't announced anything yet, but one would think, obviously USC Bama's canceled. There's just issues. I'm just going to do the conference games on
the schedule currently, or
I'll read through the whole schedule, but I'm not going to quote that win total because I don't think it's going to be valid by the time this episode drops.
Well, what do you think? Give them 10 games, maybe throw a couple in there, or just
I'll go game by game and we can project our record.
Yeah.
But we'll divide it up. You'll see in a second here. But we're going to go game by game, talk Ole Miss football, emphasize what is the most important game on the schedule with Lane Train, talk a lot about the Egg Bowl, and more coming up on the College Experience Ole Miss edition. And now a word from our sponsors. We're back talking Ole Miss Rebel football. Patty C, am I still allowed to say that? I hope so.
Yeah. They're gonna tear your statue down there, buddy.
Well, check us out. I need a statue because if Sam Bradford has a statue, I should have a statue.
That's true.
All right.
Facts.
Although he did win a Heisman. I never got my shot, man.
Well, he got 50 shots in the NFL and he didn't do anything.
Well, he did do something about it because he made some great money. They rewrote the NFL rookie contracts after Sam Bradford stole tons of money.
Well, so did
from
they did the same thing for Matt Flynn, if I'm not mistaken. After one game, after 4 quarters of football, he got a $6 trillion deal.
Well, we're talking Ole Miss football here.
That and every Oklahoma quarterback wins the Heisman. So
yep. Well, look, we'll talk about them further down the road
shortly here, but Ole Miss is our focal point here. I mean, what do you think overall the direction of this team?
You said the recruiting rankings, right?
Yeah, let me review those again. Yeah, that's right. They 5, 31, 32, 22, and 34. So hanging in that.
That's one thing Lane's going to be able to attack.
Well, let me tell you what. Right now he's sitting there at 85, but it's so
wow. Okay.
Early in the recruiting
Maybe I'm
cycle.
full of shit over here.
Too early in the recruiting cycle, though. He's it's just a matter of how many recruits he's got committed. I am quite sure he's going to get his hands on some talent.
I agree. Especially even through this year, they're bringing in a bunch of wide receivers through the transfer out, a bunch of players in general from the transfer out.
That's the other thing is I don't know if the transfer portal shows up on the recruiting rankings. So the talent he's infusing into the team may have already been recruited elsewhere.
Okay, so we're going to break this up in 2 little segments here. First, we're going to go through the non-conference. All right?
Alrighty.
And then we will break down. So I'm going to go out of sequence of the actual schedule.
Okay.
Because I don't believe some of these games are going to be played.
That's true.
All right, but week 1, allegedly, Baylor versus Ole Miss in Houston. I doubt this game happens, but maybe it happens later if they make a Big 12 SEC deal. I'm going to favor Baylor. Aranda walks into a better situation. Charlie Brewer coming back. I like he's got 2 stud running backs.
Yep.
Denzel Mims is gone. He's a Jet, but
home state advantage for the neutral site game often leads to the.
I think Baylor's the better team right now.
Home state team winning.
You agree?
Yeah, I think Baylor's going to win this game if they played.
Week 2, they play a barn burner of a game. They get the Southeast Missouri Redhawks. Did they used to be the Redskins too?
Potentially.
Yeah.
I think anyone who's got red in their name was a Redskin at one point.
What, you got the Redhawks pulling the upset?
I think Lane's got it going a little better than that out the gates. But man,
yeah, I'd say they take care of business. Give me a 58-20 score. Then Saturday, October 24th, they're scheduled to take on Uconn.
Kudos to Uconn for coming down to Oxford.
Well, they went independent. They needed a check from anywhere, and for some reason, the SEC loves their independence. Like, dude, how many times do they schedule UMass and New Mexico State?
Yeah, random. Bring them in, get them from as far away from their home as possible. Just give every disadvantage possible.
Do they beat Uconn?
They do beat Uconn. They crush them.
Yeah, I agree. And then this is a slippery one.
The only interesting one of the bunch. I mean, Baylor, obviously, but
Saturday, November 21st, they get the Georgia Southern Eagles in the triple option attack.
That's going to be tough.
They
could easily slip.
Georgia
here.
Southern, you've seen them. They I think they took Georgia to overtime one year, and then they beat Florida at Florida one year.
This is a tough one, man.
They could lose this game, dude. At least it's this Oxford. Late in the year. They're lucky. I mean, if they have the schedule go down like this.
Yeah. I would take Ole Miss. You know,
I
feel like
Ole Miss 31
26.
That could be a game, but okay. And then you go to so we got them going 3-1 out of conference. If there's the out of conference games happen, I know this is a sloppy episode based off of this, but look, we're kind of in no man's land here,
and we're still bringing you guys the glory.
So now let's switch to if they just start off with an SEC schedule. Now, sure, they're going to add some games. We don't know what they would be.
And it can't get much harder.
And I will remind you guys that once the win totals come out and the schedules are finalized, we will cover it all on the College Experience. So make sure you subscribe, rate, review, share, tell a friend, drop it in an Ole Miss forum or a Reddit or something.
Man, the front end of this schedule,
dude.
You get 4 of the 5 hardest teams in the league.
This is bullshit. Yeah. All right, because look, how many years have we been covering every single game? I mean, we pick every single Division I college football game.
We've looked at enough schedules to know when
years after years after years, and
uncommon going.
This never happens
to the powerhouse teams.
Yeah, maybe A&M. When they first came in, but I still don't feel like they get the 3 in a row. Right?
Brutal, man.
Okay. Ole Miss opens up conference play. These are their first 3 games. Home to Auburn, at LSU, home to Alabama.
I kind of want to take a look at something real quick.
Well, Mississippi State, who we're going to get to next, they have the same problem. I don't understand how these 3 line up. Like, how do you get all 3 heavy hitters like this in a row?
Ridiculous. I mean, I'm gonna pull the math up here in a minute, but I'm pretty sure that between Alabama, Auburn, and LSU, that one of those teams has played in almost every championship game going back 10 or 12 years.
I think you're almost right. You might be right. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're going 0-3, right?
Yeah, they're going 0-3.
Then they play at Vandy. I think they can beat Vandy.
They should beat Vandy. They better beat Vandy. Derek Mason's job is on the line, but I think Ole Miss is the far.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Vandy gave him a game, but give me the win. Give me Lane to get his first SEC win.
2014, Ohio State and Oregon.
That's right.
But since then, 5 straight with at least one of those teams in. And if I go back any further, then I'll find more with Auburn. But they got it all broken up here for me, so I'll keep digging.
Yeah, but okay, Vandy, you're taking Ole Miss, right?
Yes.
All right, then they're home to Florida.
That's an L.
That's a loss. Then they get a bye week, and they're at Texas A&M. This might not be a bye week when this all shakes out, so don't think about bye week.
At A&M?
They're going to lose.
They're going to lose.
At Arkansas.
They'll get that win.
And then the Egg Bowl is home to Mississippi State.
Well, I think with the quarterback situation in Leach's favor, I'm going to give that to Mississippi State.
I'm going to give it to Mississippi State too. So we got them winning 2 SEC games? I know it's only an 8-game schedule, so they would add potentially 2 more SEC teams if they go that route, the same as the Big Ten. They should, but
assuming if they played a full schedule, they'd squeak out 3 wins from that. That'd be a 5-7 season for Ole Miss. Not spectacular.
And that's us giving them Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
It's improvement from last year, though. What are you looking for? Improvement. What's the biggest game on the schedule?
Oh.
On the SEC schedule. I don't want to hear about because I don't think the other ones are going to happen.
Jeez, I don't know that. I think you got to win a winnable game. I mean, I think Mississippi State.
Yeah, I agree.
Win the Egg Bowl and set
That's a win for the season.
Yeah.
Despite your record.
Yeah, agreed.
So you heard it here first on the College Experience. Patty C, any more talk about Ole Miss? Like I said, I know your family's affiliated with Ole Miss.
Well, I drove down and dropped my brother off in college when I was 11 years old. I saw Ole Miss campus.
Did you do any shots or anything? Talk to some women?
No shots yet. My brother failed out of there in 2 years though. He went back when he was 29 and finished though, so I think that's probably typical college experience for a lot of Ole Miss folks.
That college experience happens at East Carolina.
Yeah,
spend some time there. That happens all the time.
That's right.
Down at East Carolina.
Anytime your party is the bigger attraction than the game itself.
That's a form of majoring. You know what I mean? Like I majored in party.
That's right. And Ole Miss apparently, according to my brother, parties like pretty much no one else.
I got to get down there. I might go to this game this year. I don't know. We'll see. if we have football and everything going. But Ole Miss, excited for the future of Ole Miss and seeing potentially a lot of those Egg Bowls over the next 5-10 years. Really excited to see that.
They have some pretty fantastic co-eds apparently too.
I was impressed with Mississippi State too. I was at an LSU game.
I think the Deep South has their share all over the place.
Yeah. So I gotta get down there and party, get some chicken on the stick like Coach O used to do when he was at Ole Miss.
There you go.
Guys, this is the college experience. We're breaking down all 130 teams. We would appreciate if you could rate, review, share, subscribe, write a comment on iTunes saying how you appreciate two idiots drinking beers, talking football, and handicapping at a very high level. We got years in this game. Check it out. sportsgamblingpodcast.com. We got tons of college football content over there. Got a great recent interview with Jerry Glanville up. So check it out. Patty C is on Twitter at PattyC831. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. And we are still affiliated with the Sports Gambling Podcast. As I mentioned, they're on Twitter at the SGP Network. Check us out, subscribe, rate, review. This is the college experience, Ole Miss style. You better start thinking about yours, and we out.